Gregory, I've always loved or been interested in performers' early TV appearances. Now, with your dad and your brother, you appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah. What do you remember of that?
Very little. Very little. I was 17 years old, and then 18 the next time we did it. And it's like a blur. You know, some of those things I did, I was just a kid, you know, and I went along and they said, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. But my priorities weren't in the Ed Sullivan Show. You know, my priorities were my girlfriend in the neighborhood and playing basketball with the guys and the football game that I was missing because I was doing the Ed Sullivan Show. You know, I just remember it was something that we all felt was a big achievement, because it was a big achievement to get on the Sullivan Show. You know, it promised more work and, you know, the kind of exposure that was very prestigious. So.
You know, I was in New York a few weeks ago, and I went to see a play, and in the middle of the performance, some woman started like going berserk, just yelling at the performers how they weren't speaking loudly enough. When you've been on stage, how often do you find that you've been interrupted in a performance? Any memorable interruptions?
Not really. Just sometimes. I mean, it depends on the stage. You know, on a nightclub stage, then there's hecklers. You know, all right, say something funny for crying out loud. On the Broadway stage, you know, it's maybe people who are just talking. It's a little noise, and that can be distracting. I was once at a dance concert where I was dancing, and a woman was drunk. You know, she was almost drunk, not really stumbling drunk, but she was drunk, and she got there late, and she was trying to find her seat, and you know, she was pretty noisy. So, you know, I stopped dancing and I waited and I looked until she got there, and the audience relaxed, and she actually seemed to calm down, because I guess she got more spotlight than she wanted. But yeah, that's part of it.
When you moved to Los Angeles and started pursuing the film career, the early roles, the History of the World, Part 1, Mel Brooks, how did that evolve? How did you get that role? And
well, actually, I didn't move to Los Angeles for a film career. I was actually living in New York when I started to do films, and I'm still living there. But History of the World happened because Richard Pryor was supposed to play that part, and the day before he was supposed to begin shooting was when he hurt himself, when he burned himself. And when that happened, you know, they were in production already, so the call went out and they were looking for somebody to take that role. And I had done a Merv Griffin show with Madeline Kahn, and she mentioned my name. She just said my name when everybody was saying, who could we get? And they just flew me out and auditioned me on camera. So yeah, that was a great experience.
you know, in this movie, you're always fixing something. You seem like a really handy guy.
Right.
I'm lost with a hammer.
Me too.
In real life, how handy a guy are you?
Not handy at all. You know, I mean, I like to do laundry. That I like to do. I really enjoy doing laundry, so I know how to operate my washer and my dryer. But no, I'm not handy at all. And that was, I really enjoyed that about Marvin, that he was always working, always doing something.
You know, it's a great scene when Loretta is flirting with you by the moving van, and she's doing that dance with you. In real life, how do you handle that when you have women like flirting with you?
Well, it's always very flattering to have a woman flirt with me, and I like to flirt myself. So when it happens and when it's genuine, and everybody knows what they're doing, it can be a lot of fun. In this case, you know, there was flirting going on, but Marvin, you know, he had just moved in across the street. This wasn't like going to be one of those things where, you know, people see one another, a little eye contact, a little bit of flirting, and then they're gone, never to see one another. So Marvin was attracted to her as soon as he saw her, and he told her so. But he was also careful. You know, he wasn't rushing over to her house, because that's not who he was. You know, he widower, and I don't think he had a lot of experience with women. And so he was, you know, he certainly was looking for love and a relationship, but he didn't want to rush into it.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.